Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of hashtag CB99 Talks, Combo Breaker 99 Talks. Make sure y'all subscribe. This is my little podcast on YouTube where I'm going to be talking about women's MMA, boxing, all of that. Anything in combat sports that's big or something that just catches my eye. This is episode 6. Just make sure y'all subscribe. I know I've been out of it for a while. I just kind of making sure the vocals was back because, I was a little under the weather last week. And before that, I just went on vacation and, I just taking the time to kind of recover, in between working and everything. So, yeah, man, I'm back. I'm back. And today, man, I just want to talk about a fight, an interesting yet dangerous fight that's coming up this Saturday on ESPN Plus around noon. This Saturday, Sergey Kovalev is taking on Anthony Yarde. And what's going down, man. I was actually going to talk about this fight when it was first in negotiations before, on this type of platform, just because, I was like, man, this is kind of an interesting fight for somebody like Anthony Yarde to be really, keen on trying to take, this is like a giant leap for him, I'm really just kind of wondering, what makes the machine behind Anthony Yarde, want to take this giant leap so soon, especially even like a few months back when they were talking about it, because it was just like he just came off of his fight against, I think it was back in like March. And, after that fight, it was like they were screaming for a Kovalev fight. So I was just kind of wondering, what makes it, so necessary for them to get him in there this soon, against a veteran KO artist and boxer like Kovalev, where a guy like Anthony Yarde is still kind of making that statement for what he is in the game. I know when you look at him, he has the UK following, he has the Instagram following. He has a look to him, kind of like AJ that, a lot of people are going to kind of appeal to, kind of like a Ryan Garcia. But at the same time, Ryan Garcia, he's kind of graduating at different levels. He's still kind of moving wisely where he needs to move. He's treading in waters where he wants to be and needs to be at the moment. He's not, Ryan Garcia's not in there like, hey, I'm ready for a Lomachenko fight. He is kind of, clout chasing for like Tank and things like that. But, he's not out there screaming for like a Loma fight or, even saying, hey, I'm ready for like a Regis Prograis or something like that. Like somebody like Ryan Garcia is still kind of building up his skill set as well as his fan base. He knows the fan base is there, but fans on Instagram, that's not really going to build up your skill or what you can do in the ring, and that's why I kind of look at with like Anthony Yarde. Anthony Yarde already has the big following, and I'm kind of starting to see that maybe, the promoters behind it, Frank Warren and such, like, they feel like, hey, it's time to go ahead and cash in on him just because, he has this big following and not really letting his skills develop because, I've seen some of Anthony Yarde's fights, and from what I've seen, on the level he's on, he's eye-catching. He's already, like I said, he's got that look. He's got, this kind of like big buff look that he's bringing into boxing. He's knocking the guys out that he's supposed to knock out. 18 wins, 17 KOs. But, these are still fights where he should be scoring KOs and he should be making eyes fall on him with these fights. But these aren't really fights where I can say he's building up like a signature style. He's not really like developing himself, at different levels yet. So I can't say that Yarde is a guy that is the next coming to Tyson. I can't say that he has the Deontay Wilder power because, or the Deontay Wilder power that's going to carry him through a fight because the level of opposition he's blasting out and stopping right now is not top 10 material. None of these guys are really like former champion material. I can't really even trace back some of these guys he's fought and say, oh, so-and-so beat, he's beat this guy who's beat who fought this former champion. I can't really even say that. So right now, I don't see Anthony Yarde as like a threat to any of the light heavyweight champions. Even a guy that, some casual fans consider like a Sergey Kovalev as a shot guy, and to me, Kovalev isn't shot for the level of fighter he's fighting. I can't really call him shot at all. Maybe he might not be able to face like certain types of elite guys or A-level guys or like Vosdick or Andre Ward anymore. But, somebody like Anthony Yarde doesn't really pose a big threat outside of what, guys are claiming, his punching power. So, which is something I'll get back to, but by my prediction. But right now, the task of Kovalev for Anthony Yarde, that's, this is the biggest task he's faced. And I really feel like he hasn't really graduated to different levels, man, to really prepare him for this. Just look at a Yarde. There's so many things I've seen in him that can be developed, where you could say, oh, okay, with the time and, and enough drills and, discipline, he's going to be able to give these guys work. But right now, I really feel like he's going in there unpolished and with looks that I don't really see giving a veteran trouble right now. I don't really see anything he's doing right now is really going to give a veteran trouble unless, somebody gets old overnight. If Kovalev is to get old overnight, or if he just calculated a measurement of range wrong, and just made his own mistake, that's the only way Anthony Yarde is really going to be able to capitalize. Now, does he have a puncher's chance? Does Yarde have a puncher's chance? Of course. Anybody from 175 to heavyweight, and these massive guys, their puncher odds go up, and I feel like his potential to land a shot on the temple of Kovalev and change the pace of a fight, is there. But can Yarde be patient enough to set up these type of counters as he's getting hit himself, or as he's getting schooled himself? Does he have the patience to set up a counter and set up his best shots, kind of like Andy Ruiz did against Anthony Joshua? Does he have that type of, mindset, and that type of confidence in there and ring IQ where he can, take his time and say, I'm going to have to set the longer, bigger guy up, kind of take him into deep waters? Will he do that, or is he just going to come in guns a-blazing? Because a lot of people are feeling like Anthony Yarde can go in there guns a-blazing and just knock Kovalev out, but I don't see that happening. A guy like Eliter Alvarez had to do it methodically. A guy like Andre Ward, he had to go through hell even in the rematch and take big shots before he was able to knock Kovalev out. So, I really don't see somebody like Anthony Yarde just going in there, Tysoning him, bullying him and getting him on the ropes and beating him to the body that early. Because, fighting Kovalev, let's be honest, he's going to learn in round one that the jab is a bigger task than most anticipate. From the outside looking in, you can say, okay, it's a long jab, just move your head. But Kovalev's timing with his jab and the power behind it gets guys respect early. Bernard Hopkins, he had trouble with it. Andre Ward, he had trouble with the jab, and it took everything in Andre Ward to get on an even playing field with Kovalev in the first fight and even again in the second fight. And with Kovalev, Grant Yarde, with Anthony Yarde, yeah, he is a naturally bigger guy than Hopkins or Ward, but I want to know if he has that elusiveness to get away from some of these jabs, or does he have that durability to absorb some of these shots as well as give shots to Kovalev, because that's going to be the biggest part. If Anthony Yarde eats them jabs and kind of reacts to those jabs, he starts getting tamed by the jab, then it's going to be an easier night for Kovalev. But just looking at this fight, real quick breakdown, you already know who I'm kind of leaning towards here. Like, I'm not a Kovalev fan, but, just calling it down the middle, off of what I see, everything is in favor of Kovalev just off of his skill and experience here. But I'm just kind of, again, like, I'm up in the air, like, what was it that they saw that they wanted to rush Anthony Yarde, from, fighting guys in the top, what, the last guy he fought was like rated 66, I want to say, rated 60 to 70. What made them want to jump from a 60, a ranked 66 opponent up to a champion? I'm still trying to figure that out, man. But looking at, these attributes in this fight, man, the jab definitely favors Kovalev. Like I said, his jab is almost like a straight right hand. And then we factor in his straight right hand, which is harder. Those straight punches of Kovalev are definitely going to, carry him through the fight. The jab is concussive. The jab, he knows how to time it well. He was out timing Ward in their first fight, even in the second fight at times. So the jab is going to be the key for Kovalev in this fight, and he has a better jab than Anthony Ward. Now, strength, I'm going to say strength is kind of even just because I looked at the athleticism and the overall strength of somebody like Anthony Yarde, but at the same time, it really still hasn't been tested on top contender status. And I'm just kind of giving him, the benefit of the doubt here just because he's a little bit younger. But Kovalev's strength is there. Kovalev was able to move guys like Hopkins, other guys like Isaac Chilemba. Even Andre Ward tried to go strength for strength with him. It was kind of even battle sometimes. Sometimes he would be able to, push Andre Ward off. So the strength does kind of favor Kovalev too. I'm gonna be honest. It favors Kovalev. Of course, experience. Experience is all Kovalev in this fight. So going down to my breakdown, going down my prediction. Basically, man, I just gotta say Sergey Kovalev's probably gonna win this fight, probably by a stoppage, maybe around like 7 or 8. Now, we've seen some crazy stuff happen in boxing before. Maybe the promoters behind Anthony Yarde and Anthony Yarde himself and his trainer, maybe they're hoping for that crazy thing to happen on Saturday night, man. But it's possible. But as far as just looking at the boxing math and the experience level of Kovalev, like I said, I'm not a Kovalev fan, but I can see Kovalev dismantling somebody like Anthony Yarde, just because they had him jump from, prospect level straight up to past contender level, straight up to championship level, and that's a dangerous thing, man. You rarely see that in the game, man. And I just feel like somebody like Kovalev is going to start early as far as boxing. He's not going to try to be the crazy puncher like he used to be, especially with Buddy McGirt, in his corner. Buddy McGirt in the last fight with Eleider Alvarez in the rematch, he had him boxing more patiently, taking some of the steam off his punches, but putting just enough on guys just to keep him back, and at the same time to kind of, add a new tool to his belt, kind of moving around, fighting off the back foot. So whatever Buddy McGirt has planned for Kovalev, I feel like it's going to carry him through this fight and maybe earn him like a mid-round stoppage, So, just kind of a breakdown, breakdown with the jab, and then somewhere around that midpoint, I feel like he's going to be able to stop Yarde after taking like an accumulation of punches. I don't know if he'll knock him out cold, but maybe just kind of beat him up until, they feel like, hey, you taking too much punishment. We're going to need to stop the fight. But if this is a crazy world, which it is, Anthony Yarde, what he needs to do, or I'm not going to say this is possible in the fight, because I haven't really seen Anthony Yarde set up a vicious body attack, on any guy in the top 10. So I can't say he'll be able to do this against Kovalev. But what he'll need to do if he wants to win this fight, a key to victory for Anthony Yarde, is to set up a vicious body attack, And to do that, he's going to have to go in there a bit like Tyson, moving side to side at an angle, hooking, Now, Anthony Yarde, he is more of a hooker. I don't really see much in his jab and his straight shots, but he is a hooker, so he's going to have to close that distance on Kovalev and get into the body early. Now, is it going to be easy for him? No, because it wasn't easy for a guy like Andre Ward. That's why I say he's going to need to do that, but I don't know if he'll be able to execute that, because a guy like Andre Ward, top pound for pound boxer, but even for him to execute a body game, it took him a second fight with Kovalev, and even in that second fight, it took him hell to set up those body shots, and it wasn't pretty. He actually had to maul and hold, and as he would kind of free up a hand, he would then smack the body at Kovalev. But just seeing Anthony Yarde box from the outside and counter with body shots, say a la Miguel Cotto, I can't really see him doing that. He's going to actually have to maul and fight in the phone booth with somebody like Kovalev to get a body attack going. So that's what he's going to have to do in this fight. He can't jab a Kovalev or box with him. He's just going to have to make it an ugly fight, get to the body early, and then go up top and set up the right hand. Because if he sets up the right hand, I think he does have enough power to knock Kovalev out, though. But does he have that patience to set these shots up? Let's say he keeps getting hit time after time by the jab. Will he stay patient enough to set up his right hand, eventually get it in? I don't know, and I really don't think so, because again, man, it's no knock to Anthony Yarde. I'd like to see Anthony Yarde build himself up and become a top contender. I would like to see that, but just going by the boxing math, man, I don't see him pulling this off in any way, man. Other than the puncher's chance, if he closes the distance and lands something crazy, yeah, and if he does that, more power to him. I give him all the respect, prove me wrong. I like it when guys can prove me wrong and they get in the ring, maybe he does have this it factor that I couldn't see. I don't know everything about boxing, so maybe he does have that it factor. So if he does, that's going to carry him in this fight, more power to him, because, hey, I'd like to see Anthony Yarde do big things. He seems like a nice guy. He's confident. He does what he does. He puts on a good show. I just wanted to see him go through those stages. I just wanted to see him graduate from prospect, be the couple top 10 guys, former champions, a Chilemba, a Sullivan Barrera, somebody, then maybe beat like a Marcus Brown or John Pascal, and then get in there with Sergey Kovalev. But he just kind of skipped that step. So now it's just making me feel like, he doesn't have much in his tool belt, to really pull out in the Kovalev fight, man. So that's just being real. But yeah, man, that's all I got on this one, y'all. That's just my call on this fight. As far as what's going down this weekend, I am going to watch this fight because I think it is just kind of interesting texture of a fight. And, like I said, maybe it's something Frank Warren and them see that I don't see. And I want to see if Anthony Yarde going to be able to pull it off, man. But, yeah, that's all I got on this one, guys. Let me know in the comment section who you think is going to win this fight, Sergey Kovalev or Anthony Yarde. And actually, man, one more point, too, I want to cover, too, man. Like, say if Anthony Yarde was to win this fight, let's say Kovalev does get old overnight and he breaks him down. Or let's say he does land that one lucky punch, knocks Kovalev out. What's next? Once you get that belt, you got to defend it. There's going to be guys out there wanting to unify. Now, he beats an old champion. Will he be able to backtrack and take on these young, hungry, dangerous champions, these young, hungry, undefeated, dangerous champions? Will he be able to backtrack and fight these guys like Vazdik, Beterbiev, and Bivol? That's a big question right there, man. So y'all think about that, man. Like, yeah, Kovalev might be tailor-made for you at this point, but backtracking and fighting these guys like, these other young champions, that's a big task, man. So you got to think about it, man. When you get a belt, ain't no backtracking and, doing your homework anymore. Guys got guys got a target on your head, so you're just going to be in there with tough fights from then on, unless they really try to baby you or pamper you. But yeah, man, that's something he got to think about. But yeah, y'all, who y'all got winning? Sergey Kovalev, Anthony Yarde in this fight. That's all I got on this one, guys. Make sure y'all subscribe. I'm going to start posting these episodes up on like SoundCloud. I'm going to have my own website here in a minute, hashtag CB99talks.com. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Until then, just subscribe here on Combo Breaker 99 channel, and also subscribe to the Jab Effect YouTube channel. So yeah, make sure y'all subscribe. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out, y'all. Peace.